Alright, welcome back to One Man on Mars. My name is Roman, and today we'll have a look how the enemy will end up on the Switch. So last time, or the last two times, we had a look at how art gets created and how animations are created, and today we will look how all the behaviors and all the stuff that we did before will fit together so that we can play it on the Switch. So let's not hesitate anymore, but just jump onto the game console and let's look at one of the enemies directly in the game. Here, all right. So down here he will be. That's the simplest of the three. So yeah, here you see him patrolling, and whenever he spots us, he will approach us and attack us. Here you go. So let's get rid of him. Careful, maybe change to the hammer, and come on. All right, he's down, and he's gonna drop a heart and his sword, so you can pick up the sword and equip the sword. Yeah, so yeah, all right. So how did the enemy get from spine to the Switch? Let's have a look at that in Unity directly.
Okay, so here in Unity you can see the enemy. I've already imported it and I set all of the stuff up, so whenever I would hit play it would already work. Since stuff like that always takes a bit of time, I thought this time around we just move through all its components to see what does what, and maybe explain a bit how things work, but not really setting the stuff up because that would just take too long. So yeah, as you pretty sure can remember, last time we set up the stuff in Spine, so all the bones are still here. You can see them here represented in Unity, and all the animations are bound to animation states. So we have the running animation, walking, falling, hurt, death, attack, and so on and so on. And all of the animations from last time are represented here. And so let's check out what else is on such an enemy. So this is just the containing folder. This is the damage pop-up, so whenever you do damage to him, it will activate text to show how much damage has been dealt to the enemy. This is still in testing. I'm not sure if this will end up in the game, but I somehow like it. This character has a hitbox, so whenever he does an attack, this box here will be activated for a certain amount of time, and which is the same time as he does the sword attack, and this box checks if the character is in this area, and whenever he is in this area he will get some damage. So you will lose life if you're in this box while he is doing an attack. Can deactivate it again, because this box is activated and deactivated by code. Whenever the character does an attack, I added this little script that activates an effect. So this is effect for left attack, and this is the effect for right attack. So whenever it does an attack, this effect will be played. This is triggered by the animation, so maybe you can remember, if you haven't seen last time, small text popping up while I was animating. These are the events, and the events trigger these effects in my script. So naturally, this enemy also has a hazard, so whenever you touch the enemy directly, so this is this box, whenever you touch this box with your character, you get hurt as well. But you will also need a way to hurt the enemy. That's what the hurt box is for. So whenever you whenever your attack reaches this hurt box, the enemy will get damaged. So as you can see, the hazard, so the small box is always smaller than the box that you need to touch to hurt him. So it is always easier to do damage than to get damaged. I think this makes the game fairer, and yeah, this can also kind of balance the difficulty of an enemy. If you would expand the hurt box even more, then it would get even easier to hurt him. So the core of the movements within Unity are these 4 different movements. So he can idle, so this script will just trigger an animation. It does really nothing more than that. He's just keeping him at a place and playing this idle animation. The patrol, let him move from left to right, and this movement gets interrupted once in a while, and he stands still. So it's not just moving left right like a tiger in the zoo. It's kind of randomized a bit, so whenever he moves from left to right, he stands still and watches the environment. The speed is very low, it's 2, and this is a stark contrast to the speed of the charge at target movement that I'm using whenever the enemy gets notice of the character, or of the player character. So you can see there's a red circle here, so this is the hearing distance of the character, of the enemy, and the arrow is the viewing distance. So whenever the player reaches this red circle or is within this red arrow, the enemy will take notice of the player and will change from whatever he's doing right now, idle or patrolling, will change to dash to player and will run at the player. And whenever he's almost or is very close to the player, he will change from dash to player to attack, and then he will start its attack. Naturally, there's also an event responder that kind of controls what happens when the enemy dies. So whenever the enemy dies, it spawns 3 different things. The first thing is he spawns a cloud to kind of cover up the moment when the sprite disappears. So because at one point I have to kind of deactivate the enemy so he gets removed from the game logic. This was covered up by a cloud. And the other 2 things, it spawns a sword and it spawns some hearts. Because my philosophy here in the game is that if you want to get health back, you need to attack an enemy. So you always have to risk something to get something back here. So, and the main script that kind of binds everything together is the sequence-driven enemy script, which is, by the way, a very important part from Platformer Pro. So it's very flexible and very cool tool to kind of sequence behaviors. So let's test that out. So I'm just gonna hit play and we'll see how all this works. So you will be able to watch how the animation state will change here, and you will see the area, so the hearing and the seeing area, and here's the gameplay view, so you can see me approaching this enemy. Alright, so here I'm approaching the enemy, so here's the player character, and whenever he's... What happened now is that he turned around and then he could see me and he was starting chasing at me. So let's, yeah, you see whenever I reach him in some way, here I'm below his viewing area so he doesn't really see me, and then at a certain distance he will still attack me. So let's finish him up. One more hit. Yeah. Alright, he throws a sword. As you could see, there was also the cloud kind of covering up his his disappearance. And here's, by the way, the third one, the hardest type of the bunch. You can see he's throwing a sword at me, he's dashing very quickly at me, does his evade move. So this one is much harder to fight. The setup is actually quite similar. Let's have a quick look at him. So yeah, you see in comparison, he has more effects here listed, he has more movements. The other one had just 1, 2, 3, 4. This one has a second, a third attack, a throw attack, a dash build up, and a jump back. And I'm also using bounding boxes for this enemy because the attacks are more complex. It also has a death movement, which is similar to the other one. Alright, I really hope you understand now better how enemies are set up in my project, and yeah, that's it.
Alright, I hope you liked the little sneak peek at the game directly on the Switch. And yeah, if you haven't seen the last 2 episodes where we looked at designing the enemy and animating the enemy, yeah, just check out these 2 episodes as well. And as always, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, ring the bell so you get noticed whenever something new is coming up. And you can also subscribe to the mailing list on my website, so www.leifsadventure.com. And yeah, why not add a comment to this video and letting me know what you want to see next, what topic I should talk about. And yeah, oh no, one more point is open. I picked the winner for this shirt. It will go to Berlin. I will contact the winner in the next few days, so I hope he or she will enjoy it. No, it's a him. So well, cool, that's it for today. Yeah, bye bye. Alright, welcome back to OneManOnMars.